Hello everyone, Razorblade Mango here, and welcome to the first video of 2024. And what is the subject that I have chosen to talk about for the inaugural 2024 video on the channel? Something that I've wanted to talk about for a while, but I've been biding my time with this. I want to talk about PlayStation's absolutely humiliating live service initiative. Ooh! And what a fucking joke it's been so far. Because this is where I get to be smug as hell for the channel. For all the fucking doubters and naysayers out there that are going, no, this live service thing will be good. Sony getting into multiplayer is a good thing. They need live services in order to survive. How's that going for you guys? So, this live service initiative, it's the continuing failure of it is hilarious to me. Sad as well as a longtime hardcore PlayStation fan, but vindicating. I think vindicating is the word that I would like to use here, because I think outside of financials, I thought 2023 was PlayStation's worst year in ages. And this live service initiative is a big reason why, because it has not only impacted PlayStation front facing, it's very obvious that something is not going well behind the scenes with ever since the inauguration of this thing. Its continuing failures never fail to fascinate me. And I knew, look, I am not a business major, I am not a game developer, I am not anybody special, I am just some guy sitting on his chair in front of a mic talking about video games on YouTube. And even then, I'm like at the bottom Z tier of YouTubers. And I knew that this live service thing was a bad idea. Apparently the people at PlayStation that get paid millions upon millions upon millions of dollars to steer the ship for the company didn't see this shit coming. But I did. Put me in, coach. I'm ready. Oh, it feels good. It feels good to be right that this is basically not going well for them. And I knew it wasn't going to go well. And I can't believe it's taken PlayStation this long to kind of realize, hey, maybe going all in on live services is not a good idea. It's really not. What has happened recently to constitute me being smug about this? Well, the most recent thing obviously is The Last of Us Online is dead. It was obvious it was going to die a few months back, and it's only, it doesn't shock me at all that we have finally gotten official confirmation that it's dead. It's dead. Naughty Dog, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Neil. You wasted 5 years, 5+ years actually, of your lives and your time and your money working on something that no one will get to play. You'll never see a return on investment on. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And also the fact that 6 of their 12 live services got indefinitely delayed or canceled. On top of that, we had Bungie, who of course now are under PlayStation's umbrella, have had a catastrophic year where they missed their revenue targets by 45%. And had to let go 10% of their working force. Wow. What a fucking failure of a year Bungie had. And it turns out that buying and empowering them was a massive mistake. Who knew? Oh, I knew that buying Bungie was a big mistake. But no, Jimmy Boy went, oh my god, Bungie is so good at making live services. I want to make good live services. So here you go, Bungie. Here's nearly $4 billion. please then lay off 10% of your workforce and miss your revenue by 45%. But yes, please, you guys, come into our house and tell us how our products are going. So just terrible. This whole thing with Bungie, terrible. And on top of that, you have the games that we know so far that are coming, there are live services that are coming from first-party teams that have actually been officially titled and announced. No one seems to give a shit about. And they had really bad first impressions at the showcase last year with Fair Games and Concord. Jim Boy goes, how do I announce my 2 new live services from my 2 new teams that I have? Oh, here's a CG trailer for you guys. CG trailer for Concord that tells you not a goddamn thing about what this game is about. Here you go, guys. Here's the showcase. Pulled that out of my ass. Forgive the little scraps of toilet paper. Here you go. Here's that shit for the showcase. Oh, Fair Games? Oh, you guys like the hipsters, right? You guys like the edgy, the hip teenagers that are anarchists going after the corporations. Eat the rich. Yay, you love it. Live service. Yay, here you go. And it looks like the most pathetic Ubisoft game that Ubisoft left in the toilet as a little nugget in there. It astounds me. In all seriousness, it astounds me how badly PlayStation have dropped the ball on this whole thing. I knew it was a bad idea years ago and would lead to bad things, but I couldn't imagine it going this poorly this soon. It's stunning to me how bad this is. And on top of that, because these live services are continuing to get delayed, and these single player games that they now seem to only make that are fucking massive take so goddamn long to come out, we as a hardcore fan base are left with what exactly? What do we have? What do you have? And I think after this year, it's really obvious now why their first showcase in almost 2 years was such dog shit. Because they have nothing. You have nothing. This showcase had such little worthwhile stuff because they have nothing. Either it's taking so goddamn long to make because it's so needlessly expensive, or it's part of this live service initiative that is blowing up before it even hits the fucking runway. And I hate to be an alarmist, and I'm usually not this doom and gloom, but I don't see this getting any better for PlayStation in 2024. I really don't, because they're probably now gonna have to pivot now that they've gotten their fucking head out of their ass. Hopefully, if there's any time to pivot, if there's any time to wake up and realize, oh shit, this is not going well, now is the time. Now is the time. It's not the time after you've released these games and have them failed. It's now. Now is the time to pivot and change their long-term plans. But I don't expect that many single-player games this year. I don't even think we have any outside of The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, which I don't count. That's a remaster of a fucking almost 4-year-old game by the time it comes out. You have nothing for 2024. That's a first-party single-player game. Nothing. And I really do believe all we're gonna get this year in terms of first-party teams is Concord. That multiplayer game from Firewalk that I mentioned earlier that most people don't seem to give a shit about, nor remember its existence. Wow, how exciting. And what's so frustrating about this too is that modern PlayStation, under Jimmy Boy Ryan, thankfully not for much longer, only seems interested in making 2 types of games. You have either the massively budgeted single player games and live services. And both of these types of games have massive fucking anchors around their necks. You have the massively budgeted single player games that focus so much on amazing graphics and tech that they take a fuckload of time to make, and they can't be creative with them because there is too much financial risk involved. So that leaves more gaps in the timeline if their pipeline management isn't 100% bang on. And then you have the live services, which are such a fucking massive and awkward pivot for PlayStation that they're either getting delayed indefinitely, getting canceled, or being officially announced and given titles to deafening silence and chirping fucking crickets. No one cares. No one gives a shit about Fair Games and Concord, guys. Wake up. Pull your head out of your fucking assholes and smell the roses. No one cares. No one gives a shit. And the major thing too that annoys me so much about this situation is that modern PlayStation seems completely oblivious to the benefits of smaller budgeted and weirder single player games, even though some of their most beloved ones come from the strange and niche ideas that they seemingly have abandoned. Can you imagine things like Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, and Journey getting greenlit today by PlayStation? Nope, I certainly can't. They also take less development time to make, cost way less, provide more unique flavors to Sony's library, and if one of them is a hit, they get a nice little profit out of it. And outside of short-sightedness, I don't see what's stopping them from investing in smaller, weirder games again. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Guys, seriously. And PlayStation spent 2023 frittering away so much of my goodwill towards them as a lifelong hardcore fan of theirs, and I really strongly doubt we'll see any steps toward improvement this year. I'm well aware of how hyperbolic and alarmist this sounds. I understand that I've been ranting. I understand that this video has become more than about Sony's failing life service, but this is just me being completely honest. And if I don't express how I'm feeling right now, no one else will. So here you go. Welcome to 2024. Sony, PlayStation, guys, get it together. Your 2023 sucked, and I don't want to hear about how financially well Sony is doing with selling consoles and shit. I don't give a shit. You had one massive non-VR single-player game in 2023. Wow, that's pathetic. That is absolutely terrible. Get with it, guys. Seriously. I hope to God that this is it for the live service initiative. There's some things in the works that they can't stop at this point. They can't stop Fair Games. They can't stop Concord. They can't stop Destiny 2, The Final Shape. They can't stop Marathon. They probably won't stop the Twisted Metal and Horizon multiplayer games. Oh, and Helldivers 2, if that's one of them. As a hardcore fan, you got a lot of work to do, guys. You got a lot of fucking work to win me back. Because I am, my heart can only break so many times before I just abandon you entirely. And they're really like reaching the end as far as for me. They're starting to reach the end of the lifelong goodwill that they have built up for me. And that sucks. And again, I knew this whole live service thing was not going to work out. I knew it was going to be a very rough time for them. But I did not expect it to be this bad, this impactful behind the scenes to such a degree that it's impacting the single player games as well. And I get that Naughty Dog's statement about the death of The Last of Us Online was some PR bullshit. I don't believe a fucking word of some of the shit they wrote in that PR statement, but, you know, I thought they made the right call, killing it. If that meant the single player games were going to come to an end. So, yeah, welcome to 2024, guys. Sony's got a lot of work to do. Bye.